So in the last session, we touched briefly on the word Hrushikesha. It is also called Sabhiprayakam. So we'll get into that a little bit more on the qualities of Sri Krishna, the name that is identifying um, uh, so Sri Krishna's qualities, right? So whenever whatever our internal nature is, um, so that's what we can feel around in the nature. I mean, this is not rocket science, right? So we can identify with this statement. I mean, our acharyas say, our scriptures say everywhere, right? That's the greatness of our scripture, these ancient scriptures. They give this message. However we feel internally, that is how we can feel the nature around, right? And so let's say if someone is scared, even Paramatma also, the thought of Paramatma also scares them, right? And if someone has love in heart, even enemy also becomes a subject of love for them. So this is what our acharyas say, and they say, don't give hatred a place in heart, right? This is related to the sloka, 19th sloka, right? So if we show love, entire environment becomes full of love, and with this we can attest to this, and this improves relationships, right? So if we have hatred in heart, even good things get transformed into poison. And if we show love towards others, everything responds the same way. So when we last time we briefly touched upon it, the example being Rama, right? Rama, how people felt. Rama left Ayodhya and they followed him. So that is how the nature reciprocates. I mean, people and nature, everything reciprocates towards us. So the same way the rishis in the old ancient times, they would live in the forest. In the even the most wildest animals would show would become like very domesticated, behave like domesticated animals in front of them. This because that's how the rishis look at the equality of all the souls in every life form, not only human beings, right? Every life form. So the external differences in shape and physical attributes, they do not matter to them, right? I mean, it's very hard to achieve that state, but that's how the great acharyas and rishis in our culture and tradition are, right? So, and that doesn't mean that they don't correct when systems go wrong. When the systems go wrong, they correct, but the correction they do is applied without any hatred towards individual human beings. It is the system suddenly sometimes goes wrong because of some misunderstandings, and some people maybe greed and it takes over. It's all human nature, right? So they correct the systems. I mean, that's what we can see from our great acharyas. When they come and if things are wrong, they always identify. I mean, that's why they are like our adarsham. Adarsham means a mirror, right? A mirror shows exactly what things, how they are. I mean, some people mistake that to be like, okay, so they want people to be politically correct, right? I mean, so I mean, in order to avoid the wrath of people, we regular people, what do? We talk like in a very politically correct sense, right? What was the one thing actually? This reminds me, few sessions back we discussed Vedam uh, doesn't show four of the defects which other works have, right? Because Vedam being apaurushayam, one of the qualities was political correctness, that all the works of human beings have political correctness, meaning it tries to convey the message not as is, but so the political correctness means conveying the message in a very polished manner, right? And sometimes it takes away the message. What is the word? Does anybody remember the political correctness? One of the four characteristics which are the defects of human works, which Veda doesn't have. It is vipralipsa, right? Vipralipsa, Brahma, Pramada, Vipralipsa, Ashaktata. One of those four qualities is vipralipsa. So great acharyas, they don't have the vipralipsa, meaning they don't show any, I mean, they tell as is, right? If things are wrong, they identify. And that's why when they say, when there is no bias towards one person or the other, even the closest person to them, they are always corrected, right? So that's what we can see in our acharyas presence, right? And so systems go wrong, you correct them without hatred. An example from our scriptures is Prahlada, right? Prahlada's time, his father, Hiranyakashipa, he completely destroyed the systems, right? So he tried to establish a complete order which is upside down. Right? He became too powerful, of course, with a lot of hard work and with a ill intention. He achieved great capabilities, and with those great capabilities, he was almost like he was invincible, and he had no death, right? So that gave him power. He said, okay, nobody can kill him, so I'm God, right? So when God doesn't care if somebody goes and declares that they are God, the God doesn't care. Paramatma, uh, okay, I mean, he is just okay. He lets people exercise their free will and their karma according to their karma, right? But the problem comes when this person who is extremely powerful starts disturbing the dharma, meaning the goes and harasses innocent people who are also trying to express their free will, right? Exercise their free will. So just as a evil person has a right to exercise his free will without harming others, regular people also have the right? The rishis of the time, they were exercising their own free will to pray Paramatma, to Lord Sri Narayana, and he went after them. He started harassing them. And it went to the extent of harassing his own son Prahlada. And that obviously that is when his demise started, right? The Hiranyakashipu. And that's what even in Bhagavad Gita later Sri Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Meaning, whenever there is glani to the dharma, meaning harm happening to the dharma, that is when I take the avatara and then establish the order, right? That's what he gives a promise, right? So the Prahlada, the system when it went wrong, he without any hatred towards his dad, he tried to correct the system and that provoked the wrath of Hiranyakashipu. And when Sri Lord Narasimha came to establish the dharma again by eliminating Hiranyakashipu, the very first thing Prahlada asked was to forgive his dad. Right? Obviously, he suffered so much in the hands of his dad. It was like he would have almost, I mean, any regular person would have treated him like an enemy. But Prahlada asked for forgiveness of his dad because he was not in like a he did not have any hatred in his heart. So that's a very difficult state to achieve. But yeah, same with us today. I mean, in our take all the way from the lowest level to from families to work or to the society, community at large, and politics, anywhere you go, due to egos, people have have like ill feelings towards other individuals, whereas the systems are that need to be established, right? So that's what our acharyas say is, if human has selfishness, uh, greed increases, then that expands to across the society. And if we increase the love and reduce the selfishness, that also goes beyond. So that's why our Vedam says, यथा वृक्षस्य सम्पुष्पितस्य दूरात् गन्धो वाति, meaning a fragrance of a flower, it doesn't stay where the flower is. Right? Durat gandhovapi. This smell, the fragrance goes very, very far. Right? And so this fragrance of if it is a good flowers fragrance, it's good smell, but even the bad smell also, stench also goes across, right? So that's why if people develop or reduce their greed and increase love towards others, so that spans across the society, and that's what actually. So basically, good people having positive thoughts, it generates a positive thoughts in society. I mean, that's what we see with our acharyas given platform, our Chinnajay Swami's given platform, VT Seva, right? So when the amazing things that VT Seva does, when we sit at home and when some non-profit or charity like VT Seva does, we it's very hard to believe that can people rise up to the occasion to support something so selflessly, right? So can I mean, sometimes looking at the entire society, we feel sometimes it's natural to have like a low opinion of people, but you, you'd be surprised because I mean, those who are involved with BT Seva, for example, Prerana is coming up in Charlotte, right? The amount of support the organizers of Prerana or VT Seva, when they reach out to people, everybody comes forward like with their own, when putting their self-interest aside, everybody tries to come and help, right? So they lend a hand. So that's the power of positive thoughts, and that's why our acharyas and scriptures say nature is like a mirror. I mean, if you show love, when in front of a mirror you stand, you smile, you see the smile back. And if you cry, the cry face, it shows exactly how we feel, right? So that's why having positive thoughts and going towards and trying to uh, correct things if they are wrong, and then just without ill will, right? That's what actually this brings up actually in our recent history, right? So, of our beloved Acharya, Pedajiyar Swamiji. So, during, I think, 1940s and 50s, so there was some instance like in the southern India, um, due to some misunderstanding, some great leader, I mean, we don't have to take any names because I mean those people are not there around now, right? But it's a thought process that we can take as an example, right? So he was a great leader, fierce leader, but he because of some experiences in his lifetime, he and his followers, those who believed in the thought process, they insulted, like they developed complete hatred towards the entire community of Sanatana Dharma, the followers, right? So they started insulting Ramayana, and then they did a lot of very insulting things to create fear in the hearts of people. I mean, of course, the when the systems are wrong, it's because of some people's selfishness. You can try to reform the society from being within but not causing like a harm to the entire complete community, right? So whereas they took that approach, and then so when that happened, Pedajir Swamiji, he heard, and he wanted to rectify the situation, and he went, obviously it hurt him when they insult Ramayana, right? Ramayana is a great itihasam which teaches all the good things. And when that is being insulted, he could not stand there. I mean, he had wanted to do something. Went to Chennai, had Madras, and then train station. He got off, and since people knew that what his mission was, there was fear in the hearts of people that nobody came forward to invite this sannyasi to their homes to help, like, organize his whatever he wanted to do the mission, right? So he just stayed in the train station itself and started, like, doing his own anushthanam, and then started doing puja, everything in the train station itself for a few days. Then people started realizing his dedication, and then they developed a lot of respect for him, and then they took him. So eventually it went on to become amazing program to to do this, right? So he did Sri Rama Kratus everywhere. So now the whole thing is that very peacefully he was able to instill back that confidence. Now, later in his life, after a few decades, so apparently, so this is a recorded history. Well, Pedajia Swamiji, on one occasion, he was traveling and he went near the home of that great leader, and he visited him. And he was already bedridden, almost in the last final stages. So when he spoke with that person and interviewed him, he said, okay, when this conversation came back up, like what happened those days, right, a couple of decades earlier. So, and that person said apparently that I became atheist, and I don't believe all of these things. Then Padajaya Swamiji asked him, uh, what happened, right? So when I was a child, when in our family there was Ganesha Vigraham, and they offered some prasadam. And then apparently some cockroaches and some flies came and started going on Ganesha's tummy. How can uh, God, right, do this let a cockroach go on him? Such a I mean, he is powerless, right? There is no God, and these all everything is nonsense, right? That's what his take was. Then our Padajir Swamiji said, okay, so if you have, for us, the cockroaches are like very lowliest form of things, right? Whereas God, he as a parent, you would love the weakest of your children. And then out of all the life forms, the weakest the some life form is, God loves them the most, right? We are not, the human beings are not the only ones on this earth. Our Sanatan Dharma says all the life forms, all the trees, everything has to be in its place. So that line of thought apparently brought a huge change. And he confessed that nobody told me anything like this before. But I'm now old, I can't do. Then Padaya Swamiji said, okay, that's fine. I mean, on your behalf, you're my brother, right? On your behalf, I did all of these Ramakratus to make sure that this whatever has been done has been undone. Okay, don't worry about it. So so that's how the systems can be worked through. They show the great rishis and acharyas show as an example without having hatred. Now, so coming back to this, right? We last week we learned how the alvars, when they look at the weapons as ornaments, they feel, I mean, like Periyar Alvar, he felt, he got scared that, okay, Paramatma some people's evil drishti will come, and then he did the chanting of the Pallandu Pallandu Mangala Shasanam. He went to the extent of giving Mangala Shasanam to Paramatma. The those weapons for the enemies like Hiranyakashipa, or even those even weaker enemies like in the time of Mahabharata, uh, the opponents of Dharma on the other side, on Kaurava's side, that instilled the hatred that they had in their hearts throughout their lifetime, Kauravas. When they knew still that the Pandavas were the dearest to Lord Sri Krishna, and still they had hatred towards them, and even the Pandavas were following Dharma throughout, showing that hatred within the system, towards the people, that caused the Hrudayani Vyadarayat, right? The sloka 19, when Paramatma's the conch blew, right? He blew the conch, like as was stated in the sloka 13 onwards, Panchajanyam Hrushikesha, the 15th sloka, Panchajanyam Hrushikesha, this Hrushikesha, when he started blowing his conch, and that finally resulted in the Hrudayani Vyadarayat, Sagosha Dhatrashtra, the sons of Dhatrashtra, right? Dhritarashtra, sons of Dhritarashtra, Kauravas, their hearts were completely broken because of this, the Panchajanyam. I mean, of course, other people started blowing the conches, but it is the reverberation of the Panchajanyam that carried all along throughout the blowing of the conscience of others. That's what our Acharya said, and which caused the Hrudayani Vyadarayat for the people, for the Kauravas. And then that gave a lot of confidence to Pandavas. So whatever is having Bhagavad Sambandham, meaning related to God, Paramatma, it scares whoever on the enemy side, whereas it create enthusiasm among people who are on the friendly side, right? So, so the now, so what happened is actually taking a step back. So Duryodhana, so three people got sad, right? And so far we are seeing, we did not see the third one. First one was Dhritarashtra, who got sad. He went to Sanjaya and seeking his guidance. But Sanjaya gave him the entire Bhagavad Gita, right? Dhritarashtra was the third person to hear Bhagavad Gita, right? First person was Arjuna. Second person is Sanjaya. He learned from distance. And then from Sanjaya, entire Bhagavad Gita was revealed to Dhritarashtra. It did not have any effect on him. I mean, even though Sanjaya gave in this 19th sloka, he gave the verdict, he gave the judgment that your sons' hearts are broken, they are lost, right? So it did not have any effect on him, just like rain falls on the mountain, it has no effect. Girayaha Varsha Dharabihi, right? Varsha means rain, Girayaha on mountain, even though there is a lot of rain, it has no effect on them. It doesn't change, right? It's just listening from this ear and then leaving from this ear, right? So without retaining anything. So that's what the sadness of Dhritarashtra did not help. Same thing, Duryodhana, he went to Dronacharya, his guru Dronacharya. He poked him, he made him suffer, like he insulted his own guru, right? As we learned like a few sessions back. So, and it did not have any effect on the sadness of Duryodhana did not have any positive side effect. Whereas in case of Arjuna and Krishna, Arjuna is uh, so it's not clear if he's a good listener. I mean, Arjuna in some respects is a great personality. We'll learn more about Arjuna's also great qualities that will come later. But he also is not a perfect human being, right? Like many of us. Right? But he's a good listener of his guru and he listens. So he's ideal. So these these two were talking in the war, and then there is so much chaos. When these two people were talking, sorry, the Sri Krishna and Arjuna were talking, if there was a lot of chaos around, how can two people talk, right? So I mean, you cannot, just like you can't teach Vedantam to a person who is hungry, right? First of all, you need to fulfill his stomach. Then only the good things, positive things go into his mind, right? Just like that, somebody who's standing in the middle of the battlefield cannot be taught Vedanta, right? So how he was able to do. Last week we touched briefly. It is because of one word. What's the word? Which declares the attribute of Paramatma, which about the controlling of senses. We discussed last week. And that one word, which in the sloka 15, right? The Hrushikesha, right? Hrushikesha is the one word describing Paramatma, which the qualities are controller of senses. Hrushika means Hrushyate Harshayati iti Hrushikaha. Meaning, Hrushyate means it enjoys when for instance, the tongue, Rasana Indriya, it enjoys and then it carries the message through manas, through buddhi to jiva, and then it lets you enjoy, right? So Hrusyate harshayati, it enjoys and it lets you enjoy, iti hrushikaha. So and that's what the five indriyas, it's like five horses, right? Five indriyas are like five horses. And then for those five horses to control, there is, what do you call that? Kallam, right? In Telugu, we call kallam. These the ropes which are tied around to the horses' noses, through the nose. You can control that, right? So that is in manas, right? Manas is the controller of indriyas, all five control. And then, but manas is controlled by buddhi, which is like the charioteer or driver, right? This is all like a chariot. In the chariot, the five horses, and then the rope which is controlling is the manas. Buddhi is the chariot driver, and then jiva is the person sitting in the chariot who is being carried in the ratham, right? So that's the five horses ratham. I mean, this is just that's how our scriptures talk about this, so we can understand properly, right? So Hrushikesha is the word. This is the first occurrence of Sri Krishna's name in the Bhagavad Gita, which comes in the 15th sloka. And this is all trivia, right? And first instance where Krishna's name is uttered, and that is saying Hrushikesha, meaning Hrushika Isha. Isha means controller. So controller of our senses. And so last week we discussed briefly the controller of senses actually is karma to some extent, because our karma is what makes us experience these things, different things. But actual controller is Sri Krishna, Sriman Narayana is the actual controller of our senses. That's why he is Hrushikesha. So what did Hrushikesha do? Through his Panchajanyam blowing his conch throughout these reverberations that he caused, he created panic in the hearts of Kauravas and the uh, feeling of enthusiasm and exhilaration in minds of Pandavas, and he started freezing everybody's emotions. So by 19th sloka, by when all the conch blowing has finished, he froze everybody's emotions, and they were like completely, it's like as if in TV you suddenly pause, it's going on, everybody stands still. That is how it happened. That's the clue that this word Krushikesha is giving. The reason the word is mentioned here is indicating to us that it was everybody's indriyas were frozen, everybody's sensory organs became frozen, meaning nobody is able to move. So that's the first occurrence. So, uh, so this now what in addition he did is he made him ask a question. Right, that's going to come. The second instance of Hrushikesha will come in the next two shlokas. So. Um, the so that's the 19th sloka importance is that this with being Hrushikesha, he completely froze everybody's minds and then created the panic in the hearts of uh, Kauravas, right? So now this is also called the way this is indicating, just like we in a few sessions back we discussed about Madhava Pandavas Chaiva, why specifically Arjuna was referred to as Pandava, why Sri Krishna was referred to as Madhava. Those things we discussed in detail, and the way it is communicating cryptically about the qualities of Krishna through the word Hrishikesha, it is called Sabhiprayakam. So Sabhiprayakam is the way these hidden secrets are communicated through cryptic words, so we can unravel those and then we enjoy that. Right? So, so that's what the Hrushikesha is. So now the thing about this now so far Arjuna has not spoken anything, right? Now, in order to give Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, um, Arjuna has to ask first. That's what even throughout our Upanishads, if we go, it is all about conversation between a guru and Shishya, or maybe two different persons. Right? It's like a question answer. That's the greatness of our scriptures. It's not like somebody is just giving some orders, okay, go and follow. No. It has to be like a question and answer. Only when a question is asked by a disciple, the answer is given by the teacher. Without asking a question, if you stand in the middle of like four intersection of four roads, you stand there and just start talking, it loses value, right? So it has to be somebody has to develop that interest and ask the question, uh, and the guru has to answer. So now that is the next thing which Krishna will do um, as Hrushikesha, right? So that's when. So now the time has come to give the Arjunas and the Bhagavad Gita in turn giving through Arjuna to us, right? So what is sloka 20 saying? अधव्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डवः Hrushikesham tada vakyam idamaha mahipate. Again, this green highlighted Hrushikesha word appears here in the 20 and a half sloka, right? Whenever there is a word Hrushikesha appears, something change happens there. Like first time Hrushikesha appeared, everybody was frozen, right? That's the first task which as Hrushikesha did. The second time Hrushikesha appears, Tada Vakyam Idamaha Mahipate. Meaning, what is this? Arjuna spoke this statement. Arjuna said something. Right? Are you all getting this right? So, the second task which Krishna did as a Hrushikesha is made Arjuna ask a question. Otherwise, Arjuna was not ready to ask the question, right? If you look at this first part of the 20th sloka, then Dhanurudyamya Pandava, meaning Arjuna Pandava, Dhanurudyamya, meaning his bow was ready to fire, right? Dhanurudyamya Pandava, Udyama meaning hoisting. He was ready to just leave that or start firing, right? And Pravrutte Shastra Sampate. Pravrutte Shastra Sampate means he was, when firing of the weapons was about to start. Right? So, by whom? Like Dharta, Kapidvaja. Kapidvaja is none other than the Arjuna, who has the chariot, has a flag of Hanuman. Right? So, Dhartarashtra. So, the people of Dhritarashtra. So, basically, what is it? The son of Pandu, Arjuna lifted his bow. All the warriors were preparing for their weapons to shoot at each other. On the flag of Arjuna's chariot, the mighty Hanuman was waving. Then Arjuna glanced once at all the Kauravas. See, this was about to start. Once the war starts, there is no Bhagavad Gita, right? And the whole purpose of Krishna Avatara, as our Acharyas say, is to give Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna and to us through Arjuna, right? So, and there is no Bhagavad Gita. So now, that's when the Arjuna did not have any idea of any idea of asking any question to Krishna. He was ready to fight, that's it. But he somehow he started saying this word, tada vakyam idamaha mahipate. So, and that's why Sanjaya gives this word Hrushikesha, tada vakyam idamaha mahipate, because Lord Krishna created that urge in Pandava, in Arjuna's mind to ask this question. That's why the second instance of Hrushikesha word is indicating to us that something is changing. The Arjuna is about to ask the question, right? So that is the second occurrence of Hrushikesha. So, and this Hrushikeshatvam we call, right? This Hrushikeshatvam is a quality of being Hrushikesha. So he's going to do, he's going to create the situation where Arjuna is asking question, so he can answer and give the Bhagavad Gita to all of us. So how and what did Arjuna ask to Krishna, and how it went on, that we will discuss going forward. Any pointers, any questions, any feedback on this? What we discussed?
జై శ్రీమన్నారాయణ వెంకట్ గారు.
యా, చెప్పండి.
ఆదర్శం అన్నారు కదా మీరు. ఆదర్శం అంటే ఎవరినైనా ఫాలో చేయడం అలా కదా, అంటే ఇంకొకరిని
రోల్ మోడల్, బేసికలీ దట్స్ వాట్,
రోల్ మోడల్. కరెక్ట్,
ఇన్ దట్ కాంటెక్స్ట్ వి యూజ్ ఆదర్శం.
అర్థం అని అన్నారు కదా,
అర్థం,
నాకు అది
yes.
మీరు
Actually the word adarsha Adarshana Malena Chat. So the later in Bhagavad Gita it comes actually. So
Ah,
just like when Adarsha word in Sanskritam actually it means mirror.
oh,
So meaning it role model is somebody who we want to be our mirror
okay.
image, right? So
Mm-mm.
basically, it got converted into this a different meaning actually. So
Okay.
when the but actual real meaning is the mirror which shows
Mm.
the image to us. But since we want to see role model as our image,
Oh,
we started using that word,
for that
transformed
one.
the meaning.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
adarsham. Yeah,
దర్శనం
yeah,
మీన్స్ కూడా లైక్ దర్శించడం కదా మేబీ అది కూడా
yeah. Correct,
మీరు
correct. Yes, yeah,
దర్శ
you're right. Yeah,
ఆ దర్శ
darshanam is
అంటే మేబీ
to vision.
యు ఆర్
Yeah,
దర్శనింగ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్
yeah,
అనుకుంటాను.
yeah,
యు ఆర్ లుకింగ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్
yeah. Mirror image, basically. Yeah,
మిర్రర్ ఇమేజ్. యా,
yeah. So
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
yeah, yeah, yep. That's a good question. Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah. Um, all right. Yeah, think so.
I have a question,
Yes,
Venkaji.
yes, Ripriyaji, please.
When you said Hrushikesha is a means the controller of senses, right?
Correct.
Does it mean the elements, like not just our emotions and everything? Is it all?
Mhm.
Does it also include our thoughts,
Yes.
our actions,
So
our
not actions, basically the indriyas, whatever our sensory organs do, right?
sensory organs? Okay.
So if so, basically all our actions, what we do, are governed by the through the interface to the external world. Indriyas are our exit points, we can say, right? So these like these four in the face and then the skin, right?
Yes.
So all these five indriyas are the way we interact with the outside world. And only when we interact with the outside world, there is action that's going on, right? So the inputs come through those five senses to our manas, to the buddhi, and to us. And then we make a decision, we act upon it. So in a way, indriyas are the way, the root
Jnanendriyas
cause.
and
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
is that correct?
Sorry, I did not get that. Can you repeat that question? Last.
No. So it means that it is both jnanendriyas and karmendriyas.
Yeah. So yes, all the jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, yeah, there. Yeah, we discussed in one of the sessions before the 24 elements are the Gyanendriyas, Karmendriyas. So these five and five. The Karmendriyas are our the tongue and then the hands and legs and then the two excretory organs. So five plus five. Mainly the Gyanendriyas are what drive our thought process. They are the most important. These Karmendriyas also they just get the instruction from the mind, right? If you see the actual work is being done by they are the like the for a language, just for a comparison sake, um, they are the like the architects. They think they make the decision, are like the senior executives. They make the decision, whereas the karmendriyas are actually implementing them. So they just implement whatever the instruction is coming. So the most important things are the Gyanendriyas, right? So since Hrushikesha controls the Gyanendriyas, he can control everything we do, but he doesn't, right? It's mainly the karma which is the Hrushikesha, meaning our karma guides our actions and even our experience of the senses, right? But when we surrender ourselves completely, we do Saranagati and we say we hand over our sensory organs to Paramatma, then he can guide us towards the better experiences, all the positive experiences. Right? So that's how we can probably do the good things, right? So not getting out of control. So then only when needed, he will act as a Hrushikesha. In this case, he needed to give Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So he showed his Hrushikeshatvam by freezing everybody except Arjuna. He froze all the human beings, even the smallest creature, not even flies or mosquitoes or leaves or the trees. Nothing was moving except Krishna and Arjuna talking. That's how Sanjaya was able to hear. Otherwise, if there is a battlefield, two people are talking, nobody can hear, right? So Sanjaya was able to hear crystal clear because as Hrushikesha, he controlled the entire environment for those few hours. And that's the hidden secret. That's the clue that Sanjaya is giving by saying Hrushikesha, Hrushikesha, Hrushikesha. Whenever the word Hrushikesha happens, it's completely new things happen. The transformation happens. So that's a very interesting phenomenon, actually, we can observe. Yeah, that's
Thank you, Venkatji.
sure. Thank you. Thanks for asking. Any other interesting points, feedback? All right. Thanks for staying back. Let's chant the ending prayers. Om Agnenaya Supataraye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidvan Yuyodhyasmat Juhuranamenaha Bhuishtante Nama Uktim Vidhema Om Purnamidam Purnamadaha Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyaha Om Namah Paramarishibhyo Namah Paramarishibhyaha Om Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha Jai Sriman Narayana. Right?
జై శ్రీమన్నారాయణ అండి.
Yes, Sriman. Thank
జై
you.
శ్రీమన్నారాయణ.